And we're back at Burgess Snowfield, JSU Stadium, the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University in Jacksonville, for game number 3 on this Saturday play of the 2017 Gridiron Challenge here on TV 24. John Holder with you. Will be joined by Chase Robinson momentarily, making his way up from the field level. Horseshoe Bend and Central of Coosa is our next game coming up here as we will make our way through the afternoon hours. Horseshoe Bend coming from new site with new head coach Josh Averett. The Generals will be taking on Central of Coosa. They were here last year, coming up from Hanover down in Coosa County. And the Cougars and the Generals are warming up now down on the field here at JSU Stadium. As you'll see, there's Horseshoe Bend right there on the east side of the end zone in the red, warming up, getting ready to take on Central of Coosa. So two teams from Central Alabama making their way to North Alabama to compete here in a full game. This will be a full game coming on. I believe this is a 4 10-minute quarters coming up like the last game was between Hewitt-Trussville and Cordova, Tennessee. Chase Robinson joins us now. Chase will be giving you the play-by-play for this game and looking forward to seeing some of the smaller schools play. We had big schools, 7A Hoover, 6A Park Crossing, and 7A Hewitt-Trussville, and 6A in Tennessee, Cordova. Now we drop down to 3A Central of Coosa and 2A Horseshoe Bend. So that's one of the things I like about this event is we get to see, as you see Central of Coosa warming up there in the white and the blue, you get to see schools from all different classifications from all around the state.
We saw 2 really good football games from the big schools like you just mentioned, but I don't think there's going to be anything less than what we just saw with these 2 teams. Even though they're smaller schools like you mentioned, it's going to be really good football up ahead here with Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa. 2 teams a lot of people who are watching us right now locally may not have seen or heard of much, but they're 2 good football teams.
Yeah, and Horseshoe Bend will be opening up the season. As a matter of fact, we'll see their schedule later on as we move through the game, but they'll open up the season at Donahoe in a non-region game. And they're in the same region with Ranburne and Woodland and folks like that from our part of the state of Alabama. So that'll be there is some local flavor there as well. And so Central of Coosa also was a team that was here last year. They kind of played in the round robin thing. I think they were in the round robin with Spring Garden and Southeastern. We'll have that same round robin coming up, but Central Coosa kind of pulling out to play a whole game. And now that round robin with Spring Garden, Southeastern, and Winterboro will be jumping in to play in that one that's coming up after this game.
Yeah, a lot of football still left here at Burgess Snowfield. So join us here for the rest of the afternoon on TV 24 for a lot of good high school football. And again, Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa happening right behind us here in just a few minutes. As you see Spring Garden here sitting in the stands out there getting ready to play a little bit later on. And hey, the Jacksonville State softball team, we've been keeping you updated with that. They are the OVC champions, won 5-4 over SIUE, John. So big day for JSU softball as well.
Down at the new Choccolocco Park in Oxford, hosting that. Also hosting Choccolocco Park was the OVC track and field this week, so it's been a busy week for them. And see the Spring Garden players there. Be interesting to see. This is a team that won 10 football games last year. They were 10 wins last year, the first time in school history that Spring Garden had won 10 football games in the season, made it to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. So they are a team that has some big missing pieces that they'll have to replace. We'll see them a little bit later on coming up. And later on in the day, we're going to go back to big 6A action as we've got Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery from Sims down in Mobile County. They will kind of be our night camp coming up at 5 o'clock. So we're looking forward. As a matter of fact, I think we're seeing Wetumpka already arriving from the Metro Montgomery area. There's the Indians there coming up from Elmore County. They have already disembarked from the buses here. And so a wide variety of football teams. Again, that's one of the things I like about this Spring Gridiron Challenge is we see teams 1A through 7A, 3 different states that will be competing over 3 days. Of course, this will continue next weekend as well here at JSU Stadium.
Well, it's definitely warmed up out there, and it's going to the action's going to warm up here in just a second as we are getting set here. Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa.
Both teams have warmed up. They put about 10 minutes on the clock in between games for the 2 teams to warm up. Of course, a lot of these teams, they step outside the stadium and are able to practice some of the grassy areas outside the stadium here at JSU Stadium. So they are pretty much warmed up. They just really come in to try to get used to the stadium, so to speak. And so that's one of the things that is good about playing here at JSU is there's ample space outside to be able to warm up, and very minimal warm-up time allowed once they get into the stadium. So we're ready to go with Central of Coosa and Horseshoe Bend.
And it will be Central Coosa starting out on offense, the Cougars. Handoff there. And quickly brought down is the running back for Central Coosa. Don't have any numbers on my roster here.
So this will be totally a guessing game. We've got a roster, but we have no numbers on it for Central of Coosa. We do have a complete roster for Horseshoe Bend.
Second carry there for number 21 for Central Coosa. Ball now at the 37.
One of the big things you'll notice on the Central sidelines over there, only about 10 players on the sidelines. They're only dressing a little over 20 players, maybe 20 to 25. As handoff is going to be cut down there. Nice defensive play by Horseshoe Bend's Jace Rodriguez. He's a 5'10", 170-pound defensive back coming over to make the cut. And we will not have live kicking in this game. It's already 4th down and 11 here, so this will be a simulated punt, much like what we saw Thursday night, Chase. We had the games here on Thursday as part of the Spring Gridiron Challenge where there was a simulated 35-yard punt. That's what we're going to have here. And the clock still runs during the simulated punt, and then it will stop once the ball is placed in action there. We're talking about the numbers here. These first two games with Hoover and Park Crossing and Cordova, Tennessee, and Hewitt-Trussville, we've seen, probably 70 or 80 players on the sidelines. And they probably dressing out, 80 to 100 players. Totally different here with Central Coosa dressing out maybe 25 or so. Not many more for Horseshoe Bend, maybe dressing out 30 or 35 players. And good defense right off the bat there by Central Coosa, as they are very aggressive and already about a 2-yard loss on first down.
Saw 3 straight stops from Horseshoe Bend on defense, and they get stopped their first time around here on offense. Cade Worthy at quarterback for Horseshoe Bend. The snap and the whistle blown and a flag on the field.
Both of these teams last year, Central of Coosa finished 5-5. Horseshoe Bend finished the year at 6-4. Horseshoe Bend did make the Class 2A state playoffs, lost in the first round 56-7 to eventual 2A state champions Fife on the road up in DeKalb County at Fife. And their head coach left in the offseason, did Horseshoe Bend's. Jason Franklin left and moved down to Elmore County to take the head coaching job at Holtville, replaced by a coach that most folks here in East Alabama will be familiar with, Josh Averett, former head football coach of the Gaston Bulldogs, a former Alabama Crimson Tide player, former walk-on receiver for Coach Gene Stallings, and also played some down there for Coach, not Gene Stallings, but actually for Dennis Franchione down at Alabama.
Trace Meadows, the running back, brought down there for Horseshoe Bend.
2 negative plays for Horseshoe Bend on offense right off the bat. Very aggressive defensive play by Central Coosa.
Worthy takes the snap, looks to pass this time, does so, complete to Luke Yarbrough. He's brought down. Now still behind the sticks there.
Able to get back all of the lost yardage and then a couple more yards, but still going to be 4th down at about 9 yards to go. So the 2 negative plays tremendously impacting Horseshoe Bend here on their first drive. So a pair of 3 and outs for both Horseshoe Bend and for Central of Coosa. We mentioned earlier Horseshoe Bend, of interest here in East Alabama. They will actually open up the season at Donahoe against the Falcons. That'll be down at Lentz Field at Donahoe to open up the season. I believe August 25th is the date on that.
It will be the Cougars back on offense now. Number 14 is the quarterback for Central Coosa. Again, we don't have any numbers yet for our roster. He'll hand off to 21. He takes off, gets it across the 50 to about the 47, and he'll be brought down.
Not only do making it doubly tough, we have heights and weights and grades, but we do not have numbers, nor do we have positions. Even if we had positions, we could probably figure it out, but we'd have none of that information. It is spring, after all.
Another handoff to number 21 as a flag flies from two different places onto the field.
Center of the line there. I don't know if we may have had a face mask or a hold. Actually, a face mask. I thought I saw and that is a personal foul, 15-yard face mask penalty. So that'll set up Central Coosa with some very good field position as they'll move the ball all the way down to about the 33-yard line after the 15-yard penalty. Central Coosa had no problem scoring points last year, but they also had no problem. They had a lot of problems giving up points. I don't know that I've ever seen this for the course of a year, Chase. They were 5-5, so you would figure they were pretty even, 5-5. They averaged 36 points a game scoring, but they also gave up 36 points a game in scoring. So they were perfectly balanced in every way last year down at Central Coosa.
Number 21 takes the handoff once again. It's gone to him every play, and he's brought down about the 29-yard line. Hopefully we can get a name for him. He's been a workhorse for Central Coosa so far, just in the first 5 minutes or so of this game.
We are going to be depending heavily upon Gerhard Mathangani, our sideline reporter this game, to really help us out with some names and numbers from Central Coosa.
21 with the handoff again. He takes it, gains a few there.
Good defense that time. Drake Conway, the senior linebacker, 5'8", 190, coming up to make the hit for Horseshoe Bend. As a matter of fact, the last game that Central Coosa played, the last game of their regular season last year, was a loss to Class 4A Childersburg. And you'll remember this, I think, from Pigskin, because we were talking about this on Pigskin Roundup. Childersburg won the game 82-64.
Yeah.
So the last time Central Coosa played in a football game, they gave up 82 points. They scored 64. I think both of those were school records, obviously. But so for their defense to be able to go out and get a stop, a 3-and-out, that had to, because I don't know if they had. I'm not sure they had a stop all night against Childersburg.
Central Coosa will line it back up. First down.
And, you know, in addition to that, early in the season, in a region game against Pike County, they gave up 75. So defense, I think, probably has been an emphasis in the offseason for the Cougars.
To the air this time. Comes down with it is Horseshoe Bend, Luke Yarbrough. For Horseshoe Bend, he'll pull it down in the end zone. Take a look at that replay there.
Nice play by Yarbrough. Just a good pass into the end zone. High, letting his receiver try to go for it, but the battle for the jump ball was Yarbrough, who made a nice leap, timed it well, good concentration. That's acted like a receiver and came up with the interception in the end zone to thwart that drive by Central Coosa. Great defensive play for Josh Averett's Generals.
Cade Worthy at quarterback for Horseshoe Bend. He'll hand off there to Meadows. He gets across the 20, tries to keep going, knocked out of bounds.
One of the guys we'll be spotlighting for you today for Horseshoe Bend is their outstanding offensive lineman, number 55, Matthew Wilson. Let me tell you about this guy. Last year, he was one of only 45 winners across the country of what they call the Bronze M Award. Only 45 folks in the country. That is a leadership award, and he is really one of the top high school student athlete leaders in this country. He actually preaches a little bit from time to time at New Site United Methodist Church. He's on a part of Junior Leadership Lake Martin. He is the president of the FFA, the Future Farmers of America, there at Horseshoe Bend. There you see him, number 55, one of the top student athlete leaders in the country, earning that prestigious Bronze M Award. Only 45 players in America getting that award last year.
That is a very special honor for him. Ball goes out, but a flag on the field.
That's Elijah Hurd, the 6 foot, 170-pound senior to be wide receiver that was knocked down. We'll see a replay here. In good position and tangled up the feet there, and they called the pass interference as that was Hurd falling to the ground down here at about the 40-yard line.
We'll move Horseshoe Bend up.
Just like the last game between Hewitt-Trussville and Cordova, Tennessee, Horseshoe Bend and Central of Coosa will play 4 10-minute quarters. There won't be much of a halftime break there. And I think the last quarter was a running clock in that last game. So I'm assuming we'll have a running clock in that last quarter again.
And flag will be tossed here. Offsides, I believe, will be the call against Central Coosa. Here you see our white hat for this game, Mr. Paul Montgomery. We'll signal that offsides towards Central Coosa.
I see Gerhard Mathangani over on the Central sideline over there, so I'm sure he is over there. It looks like he's got someone giving him some numbers and some names even as we speak, so we should be able to identify some of these good players for Central Coosa for you.
Meadows with the handoff. He gets to the 45.
Nice run by Trace Meadows there. Good job by the Horseshoe Bend offensive line to open up some holes there. And a nice run by Meadows. We mentioned Central Coosa has played in this event last year. This will be the first year we've had Horseshoe Bend coming up from Tallapoosa County to play here at JSU Stadium. Their first appearance in the Spring Gridiron Challenge.
Worthy hands it off to Meadows again, and he'll be brought down behind the line for a loss of about 3 yards.
Very big defensive front for Central Coosa. They've got some real size up there. As a matter of fact, that's not your typical Class 3A defensive front there. That looks more like a 5A or 6A defensive line, and they have done a good job of getting penetration here early on, but still Horseshoe Bend with a couple of big plays now and a big 2nd down and 12 coming.
Brought down way behind the line this time was Cade Worthy. 52 for Central Coosa. Was able to get back there and with the help of number 30 as well, brought down Cade Worthy there. And that will bring up 3rd down now for Horseshoe Bend.
3rd down and a long way to go. They've got to go to the 36 of Central Coosa.
Long pass complete there to Hurd.
They needed to go chase to the 36-yard line, and the referee has put the ball down exactly at the 36, and they are saying move the chains. So the exact yardage they needed, they got on the pass play. So Barry Simmons' team is able to get some stops in the run game, but they've given up a couple of big pass plays.
Worthy takes the snap for Horseshoe Bend, looks to pass. It was deflected there and goes out, so an incomplete pass. Number 21 got his hand on that pass for Central Coosa. Worthy goes back to Meadows. He'll get to around the 30-yard line. 30 seconds left here in this first quarter.
Very quick first quarter, no scoring, not a whole lot of penalties, and a whole lot of 3 and outs, but this is a pretty good drive that Horseshoe Bend has been able to put together here in quarter number 1. Probably one more play, barring an incomplete pass or an out-of-bounds play. Probably one more play left in this opening quarter.
Under 10 seconds to go here.
They will not get the play off. I thought they had, when they stepped out of the huddle, Chase, they had about 18 seconds still left, so I thought plenty of time for them to be able to get up there, but the quarter ends.
That is the end of the first quarter. No score here, Central Coosa and Horseshoe Bend here from the Spring Gridiron Challenge from JSU, live on TV 24.
There's a killer on the loose in Alabama. This won't help you. This won't help you either. Even this won't help you. But this will. Breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women, and the only thing that can catch this killer is early detection with an annual high-quality mammogram. Advanced Imaging in Oxford and Gadsden was the first facility in Alabama to offer 3D digital mammography. Find out more online at alliesinthefight.com. Advanced Imaging, better technology for better health care.
Sure, it seems like there are tons of decisions to be made as you start down your college path. The good news is Gadsden State can help. Online, on the phone, or in person at the new One Stop Center in Gadsden. How much can I save? What career is perfect for me? Help with everything from admissions to financial aid. And when all the answers point towards saving money close to home, you'll see why so many decide to make their first stop, Gadsden State.
Back here at Jacksonville State University, Burgess Snow Field for the Gridiron Challenge here. A beautiful Saturday afternoon for some high school football. And we got Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa in action as we begin the second quarter. Horseshoe Bend on offense. Cade Worthy. The pitch to Trace Meadows there. He'll get a couple of yards there on that run.
And thanks to Gerhard Mathengani, conferring with some of the coaching staff down at Central Coosa. Great job by Gerhard to get us some numbers. That was James Hunt making the tackle coming up from his outside linebacker position for Central of Coosa. And another long situation. This will be 4th down chase, about 9 yards to go, maybe a long 8. They'll have to go down to about the 26-yard line to get this first down, Will.
They were able to do it last time. We'll see if what they can do this time. Cade Worthy in the backfield. Takes the snap. Ball in the air. Incomplete pass there, so.
Got a player from Horseshoe Bend was down momentarily over there against the wall on the visitor side, but he's getting up now. He just stayed down. Didn't look like it was a big hit, but he just stayed down for a while. Nice looking throw there, a little bit too long. Actually hit his shoulders over there on the little track area, but he's up and he is fine as the young man from Horseshoe Bend. That is 13, Levante Robinson, senior to be wide receiver for the Generals. So the 4th down play is not a connection and chase. The ball will go right back over to Central of Coosa. And we've not had, I mean, we've had a few spurts of offense, but for the most part, this has been a defensive game.
Slade, the quarterback for Central Coosa. He'll take it himself this time. And will get brought down around the 36.
Nice play by Keon Slade. Slade is a rising sophomore. Number 14, 5'9", 145, with a nice spin move in the interior of the line, able to prevent a loss and actually gain a couple of yards for the Cougars.
Slade takes the snap, fumbles it.
We'll have a flag.
It'll be a flag.
I think the receiver on that far side over there, I think he left a little bit early. I think that's what the penalty will be. Nonetheless, it will be against the Cougars. Beautiful afternoon. I see we got a lot of folks from Spring Garden already coming in. They're going to take on Southeastern from over in Blount County here in our next game. And then we'll have Spring Garden against Winterboro, and then Winterboro against Southeastern.
Keon Slade takes the snap, a low snap. He'll take it out. And he will be brought down behind the line there, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Slade showing some good speed to try to turn the corner. Picked up a couple of yards, but good pursuit there by the Horseshoe Bend defense to bring him down. So Another third down and long. It seems like, Chase, we've had both of these teams in a lot of third, if not fourth down and longs already here in the first quarter and a half.
Third and about 12. As Slade takes it himself, and he will lose a few more yards on that play.
Well, if you're Coach Barry Simmons, you got to be encouraged by your defense. The team that gave up 36 points a game last year and gave up 75 in 1 and 82 in their last outing, they're throwing a shutout. So I think Coach Simmons has got to be very well pleased with how his team is playing defensively anyway.
Ball will now be turned over to the Generals.
So it will be back with the Horseshoe Bend Generals as we look at Central Coosa head coach Barry Simmons there.
10-11 in 2 years at Central. This will be his third year coming up. Led them to the playoffs 2 years ago. First consecutive 5+ win seasons in 15 years. They're known for basketball, and they've had some great football players through the years down there, but just haven't been able to put a lot of success together in recent years. But the last couple of years have been the 2 best years that they've had in the last 15 down at Hanover.
Worthy takes the snap. He hands off to Meadows, and he will gain maybe a yard on the play.
Some big guys up front for the Central Coosa team. We talked about how big their defensive line was. You got big 74 Tony Davis. He's 5'11", 220, but he looks like he's a lot bigger than that on that defensive front there. He's kind of the bell cow of that defensive line for Central Coosa.
Hurd takes off this time, and he'll be brought down around the line of scrimmage, and that will bring up third down.
Hurd able to get a couple of yards. Looked like he might be able to get more than that, but was wrapped up and then turned around and finally thrown down after only about a 2-yard gain. So here's another third and long. Call this third and about 7 now for the Generals of Horseshoe Bend.
Worthy takes the snap. He'll look to pass this time. And pass intended there for Yarbrough, but a bit short there, so that will bring up a 4th down now for the Generals.
Yarbrough had his man beaten on the fly pattern going down the far sideline, but the throw was about 5 yards too short, just went into the turf here at JSU Stadium, and this will be another simulated punt on 4th down and 7. So another 35-yard punt coming your way. Some of the rules it was not this way for the Hoover Park Crossing game, but for Hewitt, Trustful, and Cordova moving forward, the rules are basically teams will be allowed to kick field goals and extra points. No live rush, though, in the kicking game. The 35-yard punt, there's no live punting. Each team has 1 timeout per half. Teams will be given 10 minutes to warm up. There's no tiebreakers in the games. There'll be a 1-minute break between quarters, and the ball will change possession at the 3rd quarter break. So if we have a 0-0 game like we have in here, if this holds up, and there would be no overtime.
So here comes Central Coosa back on offense. Keon Slade in the backfield as quarterback once again. Takes the snap. That will be Deontay Daniel that time. The running back in at quarterback. He took it himself and ran.
2nd down.
And there's Coach Josh Avert, like you've been talking about so far today.
Yeah, he was an assistant at Thorsby last year down in Central Alabama in Chilton County. As we said, former head coach here in East Alabama at Gaston High School. Played college football, wide receiver at Alabama. Really fine guy. Had a chance to get to know him pretty well when he was coaching out at Gaston in Etowah County, and he was just a really fantastic guy, great character, leadership ability, good football coach, and now back in the head coaching game after a few years as an assistant at various stops in Central Alabama, including Thorsby, as we saw last year, and now a head coach at Horseshoe Bend. So we wish the best of luck to Coach Averett down at New Site.
And there will be a timeout called for the Central Coosa Cougars, as we're all tied up at 0 here with 4:15 left here in the first half. There you see some warm-ups happening outside the stadium, getting ready for
probably going to be Southeastern warming up out there, the Mustangs, and it's a really strange situation going on, and our guys out in the truck probably need to be aware of this too. It says Rockets, right? Okay. Coach Howard from Spring Garden was telling me earlier in the week that what happened is, and this is a good problem, but they have 55 players out at Southeastern. They do not have enough jerseys at Southeastern for 55 players. They were not expecting to have that number out for spring training. So they were supposed to be the visitors and wear white jerseys for their games today against Spring Garden and Winterboro. They did not have enough 55 white jerseys. So what they did was they went over to Gardendale. Gardendale has about the same color scheme, kind of maroon there. They went to Gardendale and they borrowed some jerseys from Gardendale. So when you see Southeastern come out, Southeastern is the Mustangs. But you're going to see some of their players wearing Southeastern jerseys, and you're going to see some of their players, Chase, wearing Rockets. And those are Gardendale Rockets jersey that the folks over at 6A Gardendale in Jefferson County are so very gracious to let Southeastern borrow, so they would have enough jerseys for this game here today.
Well, all right. Now we'll know that for the next few games here. Here's some Spring Garden folks up in the bleachers getting ready for their games.
There's Coach Damon McDonald and Coach Johnny Wilson up there, amongst others, getting a shot of them, look at themselves on the Jumbotron here at JSU Stadium, big screen.
That's one nice thing about having these high school teams play here, getting to have the Jumbotron and the replay up there. Worthy this time completes the pass to Levante Robinson for the Horseshoe Bend Generals.
You notice that the Spring Garden coaches are sitting in the shade up there beside the old press box, and they're making the players sit out in the sun. Kind of noticed that. I'll have to talk with them about that in the next game. Kind of toughen their guys up.
3:05 left here in this second quarter, and here is Trace Meadows across the 50. He'll come back inside and get brought down around the 43-yard line. Nice pickup there for the Generals.
Great effort by Meadows. Watch Caleb Rowe. Caleb Rowe of Central of Coosa, number 30, hangs on, all he's worth. But then Meadows pulls away and able to get about another 10 more yards down the field. You can't fault the effort there from Caleb Rowe of Central Coosa. Did all he could. He was trying to hang him up there and hope that some help would come.
Pass deflected, but Jace Rodriguez ends up with the ball for the Generals and way behind the line there. So it'll bring up a second down and about almost 20 or so.
20 or so, about 18 yards. It looked like that was one of those things within about 3 seconds. It was like, oh no, when the ball was batted into the air. Oh yes, he caught it. Oh no, he's going to lose about 8 yards. Had to laugh that time because the Central Coosa player he jumped off sides and he did not even try to get back. He said, listen, we're here in this big stadium and we're on television. There's a camera up there. I'm not even going to try to disguise it. Off sides. He just kind of jumped across there, waited for the officials to call the flag, and just kind of stood there on the offensive line of Horseshoe Bend.
That'll move the Generals up 5 yards. Worthy takes the snap, puts it in the air, and there will be a flag down on the field around the 30-yard line.
We're going to have a pass interference call whistled against Central of Coosa. They had a couple of players tying up with a Horseshoe Bend wide receiver kind of away from where the ball was thrown, back at about the 35-yard line. Let's see what the call is here. That will be a pass interference. That was Elijah Hurd that was down there and got tangled up with a couple of white jerseys, and they'll say a pass interference. So it's a big penalty, Chase, because this was going to be a third down and a long situation, and that's going to give them a first down.
It's first down for the Generals. Neither team has been in the end zone yet so far or scored in the end zone. We had an interception in the end zone earlier, but no team has scored yet. So Here we go, the Generals first down. Cade Worthy in at quarterback. And there will be a timeout called. The Generals of Horseshoe Bend will call the timeout.
Cade Worthy came across, and he was actually the guy who called the timeout, not the quarterback. So down here in scoring position for the first time, deepest penetration at the 32-yard line, trying to get. So see,
they do look alike.
You got Rockets, Mustangs, and Rockets. That is going. If folks don't know what's going on, that is going to confuse people. But you can see how similar. You see why Coach Burkett, Michael Burkett, wanted to go over and get those jerseys, because that would probably be the most similar jersey that they could find as far as color scheme and as far as style. You have to look closely to really see the difference. There's a little bit of differences there, but not a whole lot. That young man thinks we're zooming in on him because he looks so good, but he doesn't know we're looking at the names there, the Mustangs and the Rockets. But Coach Mike Burkett doing whatever it takes to get some jerseys for his team and going over to Gardendale.
And that's nice of Gardendale to let them use those uniforms for this game today.
Good thinking by Coach Burkett.
Yeah.
Get those, thinking, where can I go and get some jerseys that look like my team?
Back out of the timeout, it's Horseshoe Bend. Worthy takes the snap, hands off to Meadows. Runs into some traffic, brings it out. He'll gain about a yard or two on that play.
You know, Meadows has a good burst of speed there. Really nice when he first takes the football. Got some traffic there. I'd like to see him a little bit in the open field and see what he can do. Looks like he's going to be a nice player for Coach Averett down at Horseshoe Bend in 2017.
Second down now for Horseshoe Bend. Worthy takes the snap. He'll look to pass this time, but runs into the Cougars there and will be brought down. He'll lose about 5 on that one, so it'll be 3rd and about 15.
Big number 51, Taylor Robinson. Robinson in there on the play. Also in there, of course, Tony Davis. A lot of those very big defensive linemen for Central of Coosa getting it done with another negative play for Horseshoe Bend on offense, and another 3rd and long coming up now for the Generals. Had a good drive going, had a first down to 32, and now looking at about a 3rd and 14.
Worthy back to pass again. This time incomplete pass out of the hands of Levante Robinson for the Generals. That if he had caught that, that could have been a close to a touchdown there.
I think he probably dropped a touchdown pass, Chase. This is a nice throw. Right on the money. He had beaten the defender, and all he had to do was reel it in. That's a catch you have to make. He got both hands on the ball, and I think if he catches that, that's probably going to be a touchdown. He had beaten Timothy Buchanan, the defender down there, and now it's 4th down, and it looks like the Generals are going to go for it here on 4th and about 14.
Let's see if they can get it done here. Worthy looks to pass. He puts it in the air, and an incomplete pass there to Meadows. So Central Coosa Cougars will take over on offense.
Meadows almost made a spectacular catch. He had the foot down. If he would have made the catch, I think the officials were going to call that a good catch if he could have made it, because he had that 1 foot down. I think he stuck it there right before he got out of bounds. So a nice effort. Ball just a little bit too long there, but Meadows has been very impressive for Horseshoe Bend.
So here is Central Coosa on offense. Keon Slade in at quarterback. Slade will take it himself, and we'll get to about the 43-yard line.
Slade picks up about 7. Good vision by Slade that time. He looked to go outside. There was a defender there, and he saw a nice hole in the middle of the General defense and stuck it up in there, able to get about 7. They're going to give him about 8 yards on that, because we're going to have another timeout called. I think this one's going to be called at end of the second quarter. That's the end of the quarter.
So that is the end of our first half. 0-0 is the score here between Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa. Gerhard Mathangani looking to get coach here. As both teams will just have a couple minute break in between our halves here.
Good to see a former East Alabama coach come back, and Josh Avery.
And let's go down now onto the field with Gerhard Mathangani.
All right, here with Horseshoe Bend head coach Josh Avery. Coach, your first half football in the books. Talk about some of your observations here.
Oh, well, there's good things and bad things, like always. And, just coming in this first spring, just trying to learn as much as I can about the kids, see what we can do, what we can't, and which way is the best path going into the fall.
Absolutely. One of the things is you start to lay the things that you want to do with this program down. Talk about some of the things that you have seen so far in the spring and some of the things you want to do moving forward.
Well, our guys play hard. That's the number one thing. That's what you can't teach. Being physical and flying around to the ball. That's one thing we do well. They can pick up all the fundamentals a little later on where to go and what they're supposed to be doing. But they have the potentials there to be really, really, really good.
Absolutely. I'll let you get back to your team. We'll catch up with you at the end of the game.
Appreciate it.
Guys, that's Coach Josh Avery of Horseshoe Bend.
Thanks, Gerhard. Again, no score for either team here at halftime of this one. Central Coosa, Horseshoe Bend. We'll be back with half number 2. It's the Gridiron Challenge live from JSU on TV 24.
The moment rain hits the ground, it begins a journey through your neighborhood. Along the way, this storm water encounters a lot of harmful stuff, including excess fertilizer, yard clippings, motor oil, even pet waste. Water then carries these pollutants into the storm drain and directly into the nearest river, lake, or stream, polluting our waterways. Visit cleanwatercampaign.com for more. Help be a solution to water pollution.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's offers fresh homemade hamburgers and hand-dipped ice cream shakes. Dad's utilizes the latest technology to ensure that your orders are always accurate and hot out of the kitchen. Family owned and operated since 1985, Dad's Barbecue, with 2 locations in Anniston to serve you.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin with the all-new Tameron Honda in Gadsden. We're excited to be one of the newest and fastest growing Honda dealers in Central Alabama. And with every new Tameron Honda, you get a 250,000-mile powertrain guarantee. I've personally been serving Central Alabama for over 25 years with all your Honda needs. Come see me today or check out our website at TameronHondaGadsden.com. Tameron Honda in Gadsden, where you're going to love the way you're treated.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, 3-point home run, hat trick, pavement-pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm going to get back to doing what I love. I'm going to get back to winning.
Back here at Jacksonville State University, beautiful Saturday afternoon for some high school football. The fans enjoying it there as we begin the second half of Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa, all tied up at 0. Trace Meadows starts off the half with a nice run and gets to the 45-yard line.
20-yard run. I said I wanted to see Meadows and what he could do in the open field, and they finally were able to break him into the open field, and he responded with a nice 20-yard run. Big hole that time, opened up by the general offensive line. And Meadows has been very impressive, and it seems like he's getting even better as the game goes along. I agree with Coach Avery, what he was telling Gerhard there at halftime. Feels like he's got some good players and the pieces in place to have a really good football team.
Horseshoe Bend on offense here. Hand off back to Meadows. Flag on the field in the backfield as Meadows gets down to about the 22-yard line. I believe that'll be a holding.
It'll be a shame because that's probably the biggest play from scrimmage for the Generals so far, and that is going to be negated, it looks like, by a hold. The flag just behind the line of scrimmage, and he kind of throws it toward the offensive line. Anytime those officials put that ball in front of the offensive line, there's where you get the hold, and that's exactly the call. So that negates a big run by the Generals.
Saw the holding call there from Paul Montgomery, our head official today. Officials doing a great job so far. You saw in the first couple of games they're swapping out. This is spring training for them as well. And they're doing a fantastic job here this afternoon. Cade Worthy back. He'll look to pass this time, gets it off, and that is caught by Hurd.
Nice completion, but Jamichael Chambliss was there to make the tackle for an immediate knockdown by Central of Coosa. This is a very young Central of Coosa team. Just looking at their rosters, not a lot of rising seniors and a lot of rising freshmen and sophomores on this Central team.
Second down and about 20 to go. Worthy gets the ball knocked loose, and Central Coosa, that is Michael Jones picking up the ball there. Knocked it out of the hands, and Jones hopped right on it, as you see there, and got it for the Cougars.
Jones and Tony Davis arriving at about the same time with a jarring hit, able to get the football loose and then able to pick it up and give Central Coosa by far the best field position they've had in this game, setting up shop now at the 31-yard line of Horseshoe Bend.
Keon Slade fumbles the snap there, but he gets it back. He takes off. He'll lose control behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose about 3 yards.
Slade going to lose a couple that time, but if he could have turned the corner, he wouldn't have gotten a whole lot, but he would not have lost any yards and probably could have gained a few more yards and had a positive game, but knocked down to the turf there after a loss of about 1. Both teams, Chase, kind of going in the opposite direction. A lot of, probably 50% of the plays we've seen have been negative yards both ways.
Slade pitches it over to Daniel.
There's another one. That's going to be a loss of 3 more back to the 35. I wouldn't be surprised if we have both teams. Total offense, the way this game's going, might be at around 0. They've had some positive plays, but as many positive plays as they've had negative plays. So it would be interesting to see the total offense here.
It'll be 3rd down for the Cougars. 3rd and about 15. Slade takes the snap. Goes long this time and into the hands of Horseshoe Bend. That is Levante Robinson taking off. He gets to the 30. He's loose down the sideline to the 50. Right across the 50-yard line, they'll bring him down.
Robinson took a hard lick. He will get up, but that's about a 50-yard return. It's basically the ball was just thrown up for grabs as Keon Slade threw it up, intercepted at about the 3-yard line. His momentum carried him all the way back to the goal line, shook off the first defender, and then on the return picked up a few blocks, and he had a chance to return this all the way, just one man to beat, but was knocked down at about the 50-yard line. They'll mark it actually at the 49 of Central Coosa. So not only a nice interception, that was the easy part, but a very nice return.
In the first quarter, we saw Central Coosa on that end of the field through an interception in the end zone, and back on that end of the field, it ended with an interception as well. Trace Meadows takes the handoff this time, gains a couple of yards for the Generals.
Meadows that time again looked like he was going to pick up big yards, but give credit to Michael Jones. Jones grabbed hold of his leg, able to trip him up after about a 3-yard gain. So a 2nd and 7. Generals with pretty good field position again starting this drive inside the Central territory. The big thing I think for Coach Averett and his team here in the second half, trying to avoid those big negative plays. The offense has been pretty good, but the negative plays have been what have stymied them so far.
Cade Worthy takes the snap for the Generals, pitches it to Meadows. He'll take off down the sideline, pick up the 1st down, and then some. Brought down around the 29-yard line.
That's a beautiful run by Meadows. That's as good a run as we've seen by any of the backs today, including those from Hoover and Hewitt-Trussville and all those folks. Just look at this. Takes the pitch, goes outside, breaks a tackle, turns the corner, breaks another tackle, goes inside, breaks another tackle, and then finally took 2 or 3 Central defenders to bring him down. Nice looking run there that time by Meadows.
So we got a first down for the Generals. This is a nice pass there to Russell, and he gets down to about the 15-yard line. This is best field position I think the Generals have had all afternoon.
Nyweski Russell in the slant pattern picks up 12 yards and another first down. Best starting field position, best drive of the game. Horseshoe Bend seems to have something going here just past the midway point of quarter number 3.
Worthy takes the snap, hands off to Meadows. Meadows quickly brought down, I think, right at the line of scrimmage there.
Well, it looks like that the plan from Josh Averett is going to be for the 2017 season that he's going to feed the ball to Meadows a lot. It looks like we're going to see a whole lot of Trace Meadows, and why not? 5'11", 180-pound senior. Looks like he is going to be a workhorse. I wouldn't be surprised based on this game as you get into the 2017 season if, Chase, we don't see him carry the ball 25 or 30 times a game.
Ball in the air, incomplete pass. Worthy's intended receiver was Corbin Shivers.
Nice job by Worthy that time just to get the pass off. And he did what you want to do. He didn't make a bad pass where it could be intercepted, but did a good job of at least giving his receiver a chance to catch the ball. And a really good job by Worthy to get that ball out of there and avoid the sack. By far the best scoring opportunity either team has had. But it's 3rd down and 10 now.
Ball over to Meadows this time, a pass, and he goes into the end zone. First score of the day for either team comes for the Horseshoe Bend Generals.
2 impressive things about Chase Meadows. There's a flag on the play, so let's see what this is about. And we may be bringing this back. There may be a hold down there around the goal line as the flag is laying on the 4-yard line. One thing I like about Meadows is great vision, follows his blocks, and does a really good job of kind of picking up those blocks and following them that time into the end zone. But the penalty is going to be on Horseshoe Bend. A couple of back-breaking penalties against the Generals, and that is going to be all the way back to the 25-yard line. It's like that was going to be a holding call. And that is a back-breaking play for Horseshoe Bend. Has not had a chance to really even be in scoring position. They have a 15-yard touchdown pass that is called back, and now they're 3rd down, and they have to go to the 5-yard line, 3rd and 20.
Worthy this time to Russell, and he will get it to the original line of scrimmage there for 4th down.
Get the penalty yardage back plus a yard. 4th down and 9. The ball will be at the 14, and they're going to try a field goal. Keep in mind, there's no live rush on this, but nonetheless, this will still be a 31-yard field goal. The wind has kind of been swirling today, calm at times, and then at times it's been coming in out of the west, so we'll see what happens here on this 31-yard field goal attempt.
And the kick is up and good.
A very good-looking kick there from Grant Taylor. Taylor, he put that ball over the net there and onto the roof of the field house here at JSU Stadium. A good-looking kicker here for Horseshoe Bend. He looked as good as that number 2 kicker in America that we saw from Hoover earlier.
Well, Horseshoe Bend is on the board, 3-0 here over Central Coosa. 3:16 left in the 3rd quarter. And I believe if this is like last game, they'll run that clock there in the 4th quarter.
Exactly. And instead of a kickoff, we had a live kickoff. We had live everything in that Hoover Park Crossing game, our first game of the day. Instead of that, we will be having basically the ball will be placed, instead of a kickoff, they'll place the ball at the 35-yard line. So here's where Central Coosa will start this possession. Trying to find some offense. They've had some spurts at times, but now they're down 3-0 in this game. So let's see if they can find some offense and try to answer with 3:16 left and what we think will be the end of the varsity play.
So the Cougars take over. Snap goes directly to Dante Daniel, and he'll pick up a first down on that run.
Nice looking run by Dante Daniel. Just saw a shot there of the Horseshoe Bend cheerleaders, and that's been one of the nice things. Not every team, but a lot of the teams are bringing their cheerleaders. Oxford actually brought their cheerleader and their mascot and their band here Thursday night. Boaz brought their cheerleaders. Hoover had their cheerleaders here, and nice to see the Horseshoe Bend cheerleaders here today.
Daniel takes the snap directly once again. He'll get it about to the 53-yard line, about 3 yards short of a first down.
Crowds have been good as well. We had
Yes.
a huge crowd here from Oxford the other night. Anniston had a nice crowd. Boaz brought a nice contingent from Marshall County. And today, of course, Hoover had a phenomenal crowd. Hewitt-Trussville had a big crowd as well. And tell you what, Spring Garden has really come in for these next couple of games. Spring Garden's really bringing a huge crowd here.
Daniel with a snap once again, and he will get the first down on this run.
Best looking drive of the game here for Central Coosa. They've got something going. They began this drive at the 35. They're now into Horseshoe Bend territory at the 42. So let's see what the Cougars can do here as the clock winds toward 2 minutes. Some of the Spring Garden folks there waiting their matchup with Southeastern in just a few moments.
You couldn't ask for better weather, though, for an afternoon of football as well. So Dante Daniel takes off this time into the end zone. First touchdown of this game. Dante Daniel, he's taken the last 3 snaps directly. He took that one and took it all the way to the house.
Dante Daniel, a 42-yard touchdown run for Central of Coosa. Virtually untouched, taking it to the house. That is by far the biggest offensive play we've seen from the Cougars, and it results in a touchdown.
So the Cougars will try for the extra point now. In no rush here.
Trying to make it a 7-3 advantage for the Cougars of Central of Coosa.
And it is good. 7-3. Central Coosa now with the lead. Had a scoreless first 2 quarters and most of the third quarter, but here in the last couple of minutes, they have got some points on the board, both teams.
Very nice looking drive. I really have to take our hats off to the offense. Of course, offense is usually behind the defense, and as we talk with folks, there's not been but really 10 days, and this counts as the 10th day. There's not been 10 days of practice. There's really been 9 days of practice, and defense is usually ahead of the offense. But what we see in all these games is the offense we get into the second and third quarter, kind of begins to click, and that's what we've seen in this game between Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa.
Worthy this time took it himself. He'll gain about 3 yards on that play.
You mentioned it, though, Chase. Talking with some folks earlier, I'm not sure that there is a better setting, especially from this home side, in college football. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful stadiums in college football, but as far as a setting in college football, looking out from the home side here at JSU Stadium across the campus here, which is a beautiful campus at JSU, and then looking back across the mountains here, just a beautiful, beautiful setting for college football.
Hand off to Meadows, and he will be brought down behind the line of scrimmage this time. Loss of about 2.
Well, after giving up 82 in their last game and giving up 36 per game last year, unless something unforeseen really happens here and we have an offensive explosion by the Horseshoe Bend Generals, I think Barry Simmons is going to be very well pleased with only giving up 3 points today and the way his defense has looked here at JSU Stadium.
25 seconds to go here in this third quarter of play. Worthy takes the snap with 10 seconds. Ball in the air, and that is Hurd coming down with it.
Hurd was turned around, made a great adjustment to the football as he kind of got turned around, actually caught that thing kind of running backwards there. That's a huge pass play for the Horseshoe Bend Generals, taking them all the way into the 35. Good protection, nice pass in the middle of the field. And then makes the catch between two defenders, picks up some extra yardage, and here's the Generals threatening again inside the 35.
And that will do it for the third quarter. We had some points on the board this quarter. 7-3, Central Coosa. Cougars lead it over Horseshoe Bend. And we'll be back with the final quarter here of this one from the Gridiron Challenge from JSU live on TV 24.
For a high-flying adventure of a lifetime, visit the new Screaming Eagle Zipline Canopy Tour and Aerial Adventure Park at Lake Guntersville State Park. Fly above and through the treetops at heights up to 250 feet on Alabama's largest high-speed zipline course. The Screaming Eagle is a safe and family-friendly adventure course that allows you to explore Lake Guntersville State Park from the point of view of the park's famous bald eagles and enjoy amazing views of Lake Guntersville. Book your aerial adventure tour today by calling 256-886-2517 or book online at lakeguntersvillezipline.com.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. Parnell Insurance Agency has been in business in Alabama and Georgia since 1990. Auto Owners Insurance Company is one of our very best companies. We're real proud of our commercial line staff, Ty, Brooke, Michelle, Caitlin, and our administrative staff, Alan, Carrie, and Amber. Combined, our staff has 125 years experience. Come see what Parnell Insurance Agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, or Tallapoosa, Georgia.
7-3, Central Coosa leads over Horseshoe Bend here as we begin the fourth quarter of play here in this one. Horseshoe Bend on offense, incomplete pass there. It's intended for Luke Yarbrough.
The last game between Cordova, Tennessee and Hewitt-Trussville, they had a running clock in the fourth quarter, and this game is not on the running clock. Actually, they did start it then. So apparently we are going to have a running clock because that was an incomplete pass. They stopped it for a while, and now they've started it. So I think we will have a running clock here in this fourth quarter.
Hand off to Meadows. Looks like he'll get back to the line of scrimmage there to bring up a third down.
But we might see some of the second line players come in, but we have not seen any of that. Of course, there's not a whole lot. You look over on the Central Coosa side, and they've only got about maybe a dozen players over on the sidelines, a few more than that over here on the Horseshoe Bend side. So really not a JV to put in and play.
Meadows takes the handoff from Worthy. He tries to hand it off to Hurd, but he'll be knocked on the ground, and Horseshoe Bend will keep possession of the ball. That was a little bit of a scary play there for the Generals.
Well, they tried to do a little double reverse inside handoff. The problem with that is that the defensive front from Central Coosa had totally blown up Horseshoe Bend's offensive line, and by the time they were trying to make the connection, there were white jerseys in the backfield.
Worthy looks to pass, puts it in the air, overthrows Yarbrough there on that one.
And again, Yarbrough was wide open that time. Luke Yarbrough had beaten his defender, but the ball just a little bit short. And on downs on fourth down, Horseshoe Bend gives it up. So another nice defensive effort by Central of Coosa as Horseshoe Bend had another nice drive going, but they repel at that time. And again, I think Barry Simmons, head coach of the Cougars, is going to be really happy with his defensive effort today. He may not average 36 points a game like he did last year, but I think the good news is it looks like his defense is shored up and maybe they won't give up 36 like they did in 2016.
Daniel takes the handoff, breaks loose, gains about 5 on that play.
Daniel was very close to breaking that one. We saw the 42-yard touchdown run that he broke on the last one, and now we're going to see a timeout being called by the Generals as they are trying to do something here in this fourth quarter with 7:57 to go to try to stop this Central Coosa team and get the ball back and try to win the game.
You know, the last 5 possessions for Central Coosa, Dante Daniel has taken it himself.
Dante Daniel is feeling it right now. Had that big 42-yard run, and he very nearly was one tackle away from breaking that one into the open field. Don't forget, coming up, football continues all afternoon and into the early evening as we see more of the Southeastern Mustang Rockets. We'll call them that.
Mustang/Rockets.
The Mustang Rockets, or the Rocket Mustangs, coming up here at JSU Stadium. They're getting ready to play Spring Garden in our next game. And then we'll have Spring Garden taking on Winterboro, as Alan Beckett and his team will be up from Talladega County. And then Southeastern will play Winterboro. They'll play a quarter apiece. What we're doing is actually Spring Garden and Southeastern, and Spring Garden, Winterboro, Spring Garden, and Southeastern Winterboro. They'll play one 12-minute quarter and then one 8-minute quarter. And then we'll go back for our nightcap game. Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery, back to two 6A teams playing each other. And we'll be back to the format we have for this game, which will be 4 10-minute quarters, and we believe a running clock in the fourth quarter of that one.
Me and you will be back for the Spring Garden Winterboro and the Southeastern Winterboro game. Central Coosa on offense. Daniel takes the snap. Takes off, runs into Horseshoe Bend, and that will set him back a couple of yards there.
Yeah, the direct snap to Daniel had been giving Horseshoe Bend some fits, and then they come back in this next drive and nearly broke that run again. I think Josh Avery and his team, probably that timeout was to make an adjustment to that. Okay, they're running a Wildcat. Here's how we're going to stop that. And I think that after that timeout, they shut it down pretty good that time.
Daniel with the snap. Once again, takes off. And we'll pick up the first down on that play.
I think we may have some schedules to look at for both of these teams, but Central of Coosa just kind of giving maybe some teams that might be watching this game, their opponents, maybe giving them something to think about with running that Wildcat.
Absolutely.
Putting something on film there that's just an extra thing for folks to prepare for, especially in that Class 3A Region 3. I think we'll see their schedule coming up in a moment, also Horseshoe Bends as well.
Quarterback Keon Slade back in on that play. He gets brought down behind the line. Loses about a yard on the play.
Number 14 on the carry.
And there's the Horseshoe Bend schedule. They'll open up there at Donahoe on September 1st. Region play games, Lynette, Reeltown, Ranburn. You got Lafayette, you got Vincent, Fayetteville, and Woodland. That's a double tough region in Class 2A. Another non-region game in the middle there with Holtville, where they'll take on their old coach, Jason Franklin, in week number 5 of the season. And then, of course, they've got county rival.
Here goes Dante Daniel. All the way in, untouched. You saw him take the snap, and he took off, found a hole, and found the end zone.
They have found something there with Daniel, as he has another long touchdown run of 40-plus yards. We'll see it here. They have found something, putting him in the Wildcat. Takes the direct snap, slips through the hole, and then into the open field. No one's going to catch him. And another 40-plus yard touchdown run for the Cougars of Central of Coosa, who could not find any offense in the first half of this game whatsoever, and they have exploded for 2 consecutive touchdowns here in this second half.
They're on to kick the extra point. And it will be no good. So it will be 13-3 here with 5:52 left in this one. Central Coosa with the lead here. 2 touchdowns here to Horseshoe Bend's lone field goal.
Central Coosa, of course, got Montgomery Catholic on August 25th playing Fayetteville. An open date, then they get into Prattville. That's not Prattville, that should be Prattville Christian. Then Beulah, non-region game with Thorsby. One of the class teams in that region, of course, is Pike County, the team that scored 75 on them last year. B.B. Comer, Montgomery Academy, south side of Selma, another region game, and then closing out at Childersburg, where they combined last year for, 140-plus points last year in that game. So that should be interesting coming up on November 2nd. Going back to the Horseshoe Bend schedule, mentioned their last game against the team from just across the county line there, Wadley. That game used to always be the Thursday night opener, and now it's moved to the last game of the season for the Generals and the Bulldogs.
Yarbrough takes the pass. He'll gain about 3 yards on that play for the Horseshoe Bend Generals. 5:30 and ticking left in this one.
Pass complete for a gain of 2
Yeah, it should be an interesting game at midseason when Horseshoe Bend takes on Holtville, and they'll go up against their old coach, Jason Franklin. I think Franklin was there for about 7 years as head coach at Horseshoe Bend, so that will be an interesting game coming up at midseason.
Worthy takes the snap, looks to the air, incomplete pass there to Jace Rodriguez. He'll put it over his head.
A nicely designed play. I like the idea of going to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez was open, but I'm not sure he was expecting that pass. As he kind of looked up at the last minute, the ball was sailing over his head. It was well designed, maybe not the best executed play, but that could have been a big play for Horseshoe Bend.
3rd down, and about 7 to go for the Generals. Worthy takes the snap, pitches it to Meadows. He'll look to change directions, but he takes off across the 50, gets the 1st down and then some. Gained about 20 yards on that play.
Same play that we saw earlier where Meadows was going down the sidelines, and number 30, Caleb Rowe, grabbed his jersey. Here comes an instant replay. It happened again. There's Rowe in pursuit. Reaches out, grabs the jersey, this time able to drag him down.
So 1st down for the Generals. Back to Meadows. And he'll gain some positive yardage. I'll say about 6 yards on that play for Trace Meadows.
I'll tell you, Trace Meadows is a good football player. That is a great football player. Very impressive here. He has carried the ball here in the spring game. Probably carried the ball 25 times in this game already. And he looks a little winded back there, but I'm telling you, he is tough, speedy, elusive, does a good job of setting up his blocks. Good vision, really a good running back for Coach Josh Avery down at Horseshoe Bend.
Worthy to the air, off the hand of the receiver, and it goes out of bounds.
And I think Barry Simmons has found something there with Dante Daniel talking on the other side of the football for Central of Coosa. He's just a 9th grader. He'll be a rising 10th grader, but I think they found a weapon there in that Wildcat formation with him taking that direction out.
3rd down for the Generals, about 4 to go. Snap to Worthy. This time he gets it over to
pass complete to number 4, Rodriguez.
Jace Rodriguez.
Is made by number 30 and number 4.
Caleb Rowe again in on the tackle for very active linebacker for Central of Coosa. We are on a running clock. We approach the 3-minute mark. Except for a timeout, the clock will not stop over the next 3 minutes.
4th down. And flag tossed on the field.
I think that may be an offside against Central of Coosa. And it is, so that picks up a 5 yards. That'll pick up 5 yards, and that will also pick up an automatic 1st down. So that's, you get in the regular season, Chase, and that's really kind of a critical mistake to make there, obviously, when you got a team in 4th down and 3, and then you give up 5 yards on a really an unforced penalty right there, and give them an easy 5 yards and give them the 1st down.
Meadows takes the handoff. Takes off, picks up a 1st down, I do believe. It knocked over into the wall.
It's like they're going to mark it right there at the 20-yard line. It'll be, if it's not a 1st down, it will be mighty, mighty close. Let's see where they actually mark the football. They did stop the clock on this one. And that will be a 1st down for Horseshoe Bend as Coach Avery trying to get his team into the end zone. They were close on one possession, had to settle for a field goal.
Official blow the whistle here, and as they move the chains.
Yeah, Chain gang crew a little bit behind over there. They give them the official signal. That is a first down and move the chains. And they will start the clock.
Worthy takes the snap. Hand off to Meadows. Gets to about the 14-yard line.
There's not going to be very many young men in the state of Alabama tonight on a Saturday night that are going to be more sore than Meadows is, because he has had a day here at Jacksonville State. By the time he gets off the bus in New Hope this evening, I think he's going to be ready for some rest. They have worked him hard today here at JSU Stadium.
Worthy takes off this time. It's down to about the 10-yard line. They'll mark him just short of the first down.
No live kick, so there won't be an onside kick here. If you're wondering if they were able to score here, down by 2 scores. I think right now what Coach Averett wants to do is just get that ball in the end zone, get a touchdown score. It'd be a lot for Horseshoe Bend if they could score a touchdown and here at the end to get into the off season during the summer.
Worthy takes the snap. Hands it to Meadows. He'll gain a couple.
And he'll get the first down, so they'll have 4 shots. Of course, the clock is running. They'll have 4 shots chased from the 8-yard line here. You would think that these would probably be throws because of the time situation.
Minute 18. They stop the clock. And they'll start it back up here. Worthy takes a snap. Hands off to Meadows, and he will walk right in the end zone. Touchdown for Trace Meadows and Horseshoe Bend.
And those folks that came up from Newside and Tallapoosa County, including the cheerleaders, will have a celebration down there. Quite a few Horseshoe Bend fans and their cheerleaders give them something to celebrate with a touchdown here. Appropriately, if anybody's going to score a touchdown for Horseshoe Bend, in all fairness, it should have been Trace Meadows because of how hard he's worked today.
So, tip the extra point here. And no live kicking, so no live rush. High snap.
And it's a good thing.
Yes. And that one is no good. So 13-9 is the score. Central Coosa on top of Horseshoe Bend here with 1:05 left in this one.
And we see the Southeastern Mustangs are over there in the northeast corner of the stadium, waiting to make their entrance into JSU Stadium. And Coach Mike Burkett with a good problem. You see, look at those guys. They're looking at themselves up on the screen there. And they had a good problem. 55 players out for spring training at Southeastern. Very impressive number for any school, especially a small school like Southeastern. So much so, as we've been documenting, that they had to borrow jerseys from Gardendale. And I think what happened was that Spring Garden's going to be in white, and Winterboro is going to be in white. No, Winterboro is going to be in blue, I think they told me. So it'll be when Winterboro and Southeastern play, you'll have the maroon against blue. You'll have 2 dark-colored jerseys, which we rarely, if ever, see in high school football. We'll see that in that 3rd game coming up.
Dante Daniel, or that will be number 20 rather, for Central Coosa.
That could have been disaster, because really the only way that Horseshoe Bend can win this game is to get a turnover, because the clock is on a running clock. So unless Central Coosa can turn it over, which they very nearly did that time, Central's going to come away with this win 13-9.
The Cougars with under 30 seconds to go here in this one. Dante Daniel takes the snap for the Cougars, and he takes off.
Number 21 on the quarterback.
That will likely be the last play of the game with under 10 seconds to go.
Parker Branch.
Yes, that will do it.
I believe Gerhard Mathangani is going to talk with both coaches, probably Barry Simmons from Central Coosa and also Josh Averett of, I almost said Gaston, so used to saying that through the years, Josh Averett of Horseshoe Bend.
13-9, Central Coosa gets the win to end their spring training days here. It's a win over Horseshoe Bend. Nice way to end the spring there for Central Coosa. Got some good football still left to come as the Mustangs making their way out of the sideline. Spring Garden will be on the far sideline.
Spring Garden in the white, and of course the maroon here, if you will, or the Southeastern / Gardendale today. Gerhard Mathangani is going to have both coaches here. He's got Coach Avery, and he'll have Coach Simmons, and we'll have the reaction of both of those coaches to their teams and their prospects for the 2017 season. 10 minutes has been put on the clock here, so we will be about 10 minutes away from Southeastern and Spring Garden, then Spring Garden Winterboro, then Southeastern Winterboro, and then 6A action tonight. Our last game of the evening will be Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery coming from Mobile County.
And Gerhard patiently waiting down on the field for the coaches to finish with their teams here.
Central Coosa wins the game 13-9.
And let's go down on the field now. Here is Gerhard Mathangani.
I'm here with both coaches. We'll talk to Coach Avery to start out with. All right, Coach, some smiles on your face. I'm sure there's some things that you saw, especially early on with you guys, that you wanted to correct. We talked right before halftime, and then you got some points on the board later in the second half.
Definitely, spring's all about learning about your kids and, trying to, especially this year, putting in something completely new with, 8 or 9 days of practice. You know it's going to be a little rough in the beginning. It's a long time to August, so we got plenty of time to work. But I saw a lot of good things, a lot of bad things.
Absolutely. You have a championship pedigree as far as you know what it takes to get a team to that ultimate place. What are some of the things over the next few months that this team can expect to see before you guys get into fall camp?
Well, you just got to work in the weight room and start cleaning up all those little things. It goes back to fundamentals, making sure we're blocking the right people, make sure we're tackling the right way. It all goes down to those fundamentals.
Best of luck to you, Coach. We appreciate it. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
All right, it's Coach Josh Avery. Also here with Coach Barry Simmons of Central Coosa. First off, Coach, things started really slow for both teams, and you got to pick it up there in the second half.
Oh, yeah, but it's spring. That's to be expected. We dropped some balls. We had some bad snaps. We missed some blocks. We missed some holes, and they did too, But, we fought hard, and we kind of kept our composure, and I told them just to keep pounding, and it would come, and eventually it did. So I was proud of them for that.
Specifically, the running game looked really good today.
Yeah, Dante, he done a very good job for us today, but, he couldn't do that without the line blocking. And, of course, we got some F-backs up there that did a good job blocking for him on our kick and curl scheme. So, yeah, I was real proud of Dante, and we finally got going. We really believe in our heavy set and what we do, and we preached it all spring, and we come out and we executed it. The second time we run it, the first time, it looked horrible, The second time, we kind of started making our blocks. We talked through some things, and we got some things fixed, and we busted a couple. And, to their credit, they did a great job with it.
Absolutely. Final question. Give us a little bit of insight of what will take place over the next few months of your offseason as you look forward to fall camp and the regular season.
Oh, no doubt. Well, the next 2 days, what we'll try to do is we'll get our next 2 weeks, coming up, the end of the school, we'll try to get all their numbers. We'll get height, weight, maxes, all that. Get a little base lift in. We'll give Memorial Week off. Then we'll come back in what we call our phase 1 lifting. We'll start lifting then and start working on the field a little bit, and then it'll carry on through the fall. It starts then, Well, for us, we talked about it started at the end of last season. That's where these journeys these guys have been on. So, it's just the next phase for us. But that's what will happen. We'll take a couple weeks off in the month of June. We'll basically just lift and run. And then in July, we'll start our 7-on-7 camps and things like that. So, and our team camp at the end. So we're looking forward to having a great summer with these guys.
Absolutely. Best of luck to you, Coach.
Thank you so much.
All right, Coach Barry Simmons, let's get back with your guys. Barry Simmons and Coach Josh Avery, heard from both guys. Really a lot of good things that they saw today and more good things they'll look forward to over the next few months as they get into the regular season. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Gerhard. And Central Coosa wins that one 13-9 over Horseshoe Bend. We got more of the Gridiron Challenge next on TV 24.